watching ABC in the morning live on ABC News GH. This morning on our front story, we take a look at the mediation that the Asantehene Otumfuo Osei Tutu II led, all in the bid to bring some lasting peace solution to this long-standing, decades-long Boko conflict. This morning, I have joining me in studio Professor John Azuma. Reverend, good morning and thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you for having me.
We are glad to finally have you in studio. You've been talking to us over the phone and on Zoom for a very long time now. You have been very vocal about this matter, seeing as you have a stake in it.
Yeah.
You are from the place, you are feeling the issues, and as president of the CUSAG conference, were you in any way part of this mediation process?
Yes and no. We were all behind the scenes. We were supporting the process. We were making our views known to the relevant stakeholders in various forms, through private interventions, but also mainly through publications. And that's what we were doing. So we were very much putting pressure to get to a quick resolution. Because of the lives that have been lost on the ground. That's what we were doing.
All right. Yeah. Well, at this point where Asantehene himself has come to present the report to the president, not only did he just give the president the report and returned, he gave us snippets of the report, giving us a certain idea about the work that has been done. If the words of Asantehene are the only things we are going by, that is what he said yesterday, how do you receive them?
I think that is what we on our part we were expecting.
The CUSAG
people were expecting that, because this issue has been handled. It has gone through a lot of processes, as Asantehene recounted yesterday. It has gone through a commission. It has gone through appeals court in the 50s. It has gone through different forms of judicial processes. It has gone through political decrees, military decrees, and it went through even mediation before. It went through dialogue, and yet this issue keeps coming back. That is why I was worried that what else will Asantehene say that will resolve this matter? So what Asantehene did yesterday at the report was simply to uphold the status quo. He said, this is what the law has been clear on this. This has been stated over and over again. That is what Asantehene just did. I'm upholding this. This is the status quo. Until that law, until the constitution is changed, this is what we must enforce. And we were pleased to hear that.
You are pleased to hear that?
Yes.
And so you'd say that he's done a great job with the mediation?
I think Asantehene did a great job. As I said, for me, it is the pace that we were worried about. It was a very slow pace.
This mediation?
This mediation. Because the lives were being lost on the ground. This was given to him 2 years ago. So we were hoping that this would have been wrapped up even before the last government left office. But of course, Asantehene is a very busy man. He has his schedule, so we couldn't say much. But on the ground, we were feeling lives were needlessly being lost. And so we needed to pick up the pace, and that is why some of us were putting the pressure. But I think on the whole, Asantehene is a very well-educated, respected, revered traditional leader. And his pronouncements yesterday showed the depth of his wisdom and his knowledge and his diplomacy, that he brought all of that to bear on the issue. And we were very pleased with the outcome and the work he has done overall.
Well, Asantehene talks about his conversations that he had ahead of this matter. He singled one person out and gave an advice, that is Honorable Avoka, about utterances. How have utterances played a role, an adverse role, in propagating this conflict?
I think utterances and media publications, social media in particular, has fueled this conflict more than anything else. Honestly, we've had this going on, as everybody knows, for a while now. But this time, because of social media, WhatsApp platforms, Facebook postings, all forms of TikTok postings, it has fueled the conflict. It gave the conflict a new leash, a new energy, and broaden the conflict to areas that had never been impacted by this conflict in the past. So Asante was very right to call out. I was very unhappy that he called out my senior brother, Honorable Avoka, publicly, but I think it was the right thing to do. He was using Honorable Avoka simply to call on everybody to tone down. This is not the time to poke fun and to pour more fuel onto the fire. We want to douse the flames. As Asante has spoken, we want peace in the area, and we want to stretch out our hand of reconciliation. And now, as the Asante himself said, we are embarking on the path of reconciliation. And what we need is peace now.
Well, we are embarking on the path of reconciliation, which is a very important aspect.
Yes.
But as he said during the presentation of the report, Mr. Seidu Abagri has to be recalled to Nalerigu for all of these things to settle.
Yes.
And so how quickly do you think that this recall must be done so that you can begin the process of reconciliation?
Yes, and again, this is what we have been saying for the past 4 years, especially the past 2 years when Seidu Abagri was skinned in Nalerigu in 2023. We said that this was going to inflame the situation. And unless and until Seidu Abagri is removed from Boko, there will be no peace. And as Asante underscored that yesterday, I am hoping, and for us, we have been saying that the problem has been law enforcement. Law enforcement. That's what Asante said yesterday. Enforce the law. The constitution is clear. The courts have spoken. The National House of Chiefs have spoken. Everybody has spoken on this issue. So when I hear people say it's a complex issue, I'm like, it's not that complex. It is complex because politicians lack the political will to enforce the law. Asante, he's not a politician. He spoke the truth plainly and directly and clearly yesterday. That was so refreshing. So for me, my hope is that now that that has happened, the politicians will follow up and enforce the law. Seidu Abagri should be removed, recalled from Boko. This is an act that I hope our father, the Nayiri, will do. The Nayiri is a father to everybody. We all revered him. Until this conflict happened, we all respected the Nayiri. But when this happened and the loss of lives, people got very angry. So for me, I'm hoping that he will use his wisdom, recall, as Asante himself said it. It was out of deference for the Nayiri that he said they shouldn't arrest Seidu Abagri in Boko. Now he is saying that Nayiri should take the steps to recall him. I am hoping that he will do that. If he doesn't, it's up to the law enforcement to do that. Because if they don't do it, it is not going to still bring peace to Boko.
Don't you think that law enforcement has also threaded cautiously in Boko because of the tensions that have been there over the while? Because if law enforcement also comes in so strong and the Boko people are also meeting them so strong, it may become something worse than we already see. And you talk about the lack of political will.
Yeah.
Couldn't it be hinged on that, for which we are seeing the slow pace at which we are dealing with the matter?
Yes, that is all part of the sensitivities. You see, but law enforcement, I am not a law enforcement official. I am not an expert in that. But every profession, they have their training. There are ways that you can go about these things without causing loss of lives. This Seidu Abagri could have been invited. You don't have to go and arrest him with guns blazing. He could have been invited. He could be, and Nayiri could have invited him. There are ways that they could invite this man. And I'm sure Seidu Abagri himself is a father. He was born and raised in Boko. Seidu Abagri himself must be paid by the death and destruction that's going on in Boko. And if, as everybody is feeling, he is feeling the same, he will extricate himself from the situation to say, look, for the sake of lives, innocent lives, women, children, pregnant women, the infirm, disabled people, innocent people who were killed, for the sake of that, I am going to extricate myself.
But if he was going to extricate himself, don't you think that he would have done that in the early stages when these unfortunate incidents started happening?
He could have done that. But I think that, you see, one thing that we have to understand also is that within the Boko Mampuri community, there is a hardcore element amongst them.
Okay.
And they are those who we believe, because we know each other, they are those that we believe are holding even State Abagre hostage. Because there are very reasonable, mature people amongst the Mamprusi community in Boko who don't want this, who would want this to stop. But as I said, there's also the hardcore element. That is what the security need to work at. And I'm sure if that terrain is softened, State Abagre will move out of Boko or will simply renounce this issue. We and I've got Mamprusi cousins. I've got Mamprusi's nieces. In fact, some of them said, I'm a Mamprusi. I strongly resist that. I'm not. I'm a Kusasi. But we are related. We have intermarried. So for me, we want to go back to that situation. I grew up in that area myself. And we played football together. We went to funerals together. This one we want to go back to. Nobody wants Boko to be burned down. I live in Accra, but Boko is my home. And whenever I go to Boko, I say I'm going home. And when I get to Boko, all my relatives, extended family, are family members. That's what I want to go back to.
Rev, you talk about softening the land, yes, softening the hard elements that could be playing a very strong role, for which Mr. Saidu Abagre is still there as a chief.
Yes.
In dealing with the matter, how do you within also help the situation, barring or outside of law enforcement? I mean, sometimes there are situations that they say that look at alternate forms of resolution, look within your brothers, your sisters, and so you speak a language that an outsider will not be able to understand, yeah, when it comes to this matter.
Yeah.
How do you implore your people, impress upon them to see reason in issues like this?
Now, for me, it is very simple. Some of us, as I said, I, as a person, as an individual, I come from the area. As I said, I have family members on both sides. As I said, I'm a reverend minister. I resist bloodshed just by my nature and my training. It's not something that we wish. When the Mamprusi is killed, it hurts me. When the Kusasi is killed, it hurts me. We don't want to see that. We want it to stop. But we need to reach out to each other. That's what I'm saying. And for us, we will play our role. The Kusasi youth, we have a lot of them. When we talk to them, they will listen. If we can get our Kusasi youth to simply hold back, pull back from the brink, and we reach out and bring about reconciliation, we are going to stretch forth our hands to the Mamprusi side. If they come across, there is a traditional ritual that Kusasi people and all of us do in the upper regions. We have what we call the burial of the okra stick.
Okay.
When there is a blood spilled between two feuding factions and there's to be reconciliation, there's a ritual that we call burial of the okra stick. That when that is performed by both parties, you come together and you get a traditional priest to bury the okra stick and pour libation and slaughter a chicken, and then the communities have reconciled.
Okay.
You can go back to life as it used to be.
It's as simple as that.
It's as simple as that. If the Mamprusis agree that they will do that, we are inviting them. We are stretching forth our hands from today. They should come. We will do that. Recognize that there's one Bokunaba. Bokunaba, as Sigri Abugrago Azoka II, he is the Bokunaba. We recognize that everybody goes back to their business. We bury the mantle around what, as we call it, the okra stick, and we move on with lives. This is what we are appealing to them to do.
But if it's as simple as that, why is it taking too long for this situation to be dealt with? I know you talk about the fact that the political will has not been there. We've been skirting around the issue and all. What seems to be that major stumbling block for which it's people have taken entrenched positions, yes, to not shift away from?
Yes. You see, the issue is that if you look at, I have written a book called Boko Chieftaincy Affairs, the British and Chieftaincy in Northern Ghana. I have detailed everything in this book. And this is something because I felt the issues are so plain. They are hiding in plain sight. I went to the archives, I dug these facts out in the archives. It's all fully referenced. People can see the facts there. So for me, it wasn't complicated. But like I said, it was lack of political will. On some part, I blame the previous government because of lack of political will to enforce the law. That is my beef with the previous government. The current government, some elements within the current government use the situation for their political ends also. And that I hold them responsible to. So on both sides, the politicians have helped matters. But on the side of the feuding parties, the Kusasis have felt very strongly that this is about our self-identity.
Okay.
It's about self-determination. Traditional rulership is about customs and traditions. How can one tribe use their tradition to enskin one of their own, according to their traditions, to come and rule over your tribe? It just doesn't happen. It cannot happen in the 21st century. For the Kusasis, they were entrenched in that. They were like, we will not accept this again, ever. Because it's about our independence. It's about our self-determination. It's about our collective identity as a people. It's about our dignity. The Mampusi on their other side, they were also entrenched in the fact that we have been chiefs in Boko. We were chiefs in Boko before Kusasis were ever chiefs. And Kusasis do not dispute that. But they say it was a colonial kind of arrangement. And this is one thing we haven't talked about. The responsibility of the British. The British lit the fire. They lit the fire back in the early 20th century, in the 1900s. The British lit the fire, put these communities together, imposed the Nairi over all other ethnic groups in the upper regions, and made him the paramount chief. I've got the letters in the archives. The British have to be held responsible for all this bloodshed, in my view. So for me, they were all factors. The politicians played their part. The feuding factions had their positions, and the colonial history had its own. This one made the whole thing look complicated. But I'm sure with Asante Hene's pronouncement, it has brought clarity. My hope is that our Mampusi cousins and nephews and friends will accept this outcome. It should be the final outcome, and we'll all live in peace.
It should be the final outcome. Do you see this declaration by the Asante Hene, some of the things he said yesterday, as a win for Kusasi?
I don't see it as a win for Kusasi.
Okay.
I see it as a win for Boko. I see it as a win for Ghana. I see it as a win for the truth. I see it as a win for law and for the law, for the constitution. I see it as a win for chieftaincy institution. What Asante Hene did yesterday was simply to restore dignity and respect to the chieftaincy institution. Chieftaincy institution has so much respect, and this is one element also, that because of the respect that we give to our chiefs, the government could have gone in guns blazing to take say the Abagre from Nalergo. They didn't do it. Why? Because of respect for Nairi. It's because of the respect we have for the institutions. So we are hoping that our chiefs themselves will respect the skins and the stools that they sit on.
You don't think they respect it?
I think that they respect it, but some of their actions undermine that respect. Because if you go and take an action that can bring bloodshed for years in your area as a chief, you don't want to do that as a leader. You want to manage this in a way that will not lead to bloodshed. So for me, it was tarnishing the chieftaincy institution, not just Boko. There are so many chieftaincy conflicts. And look, some of the chiefs too are getting involved in politics and all of things. So for me, Asante Hene restored dignity to the chieftaincy institution yesterday. He upheld the rule of law. He upheld the constitution of Ghana. And it is a win for all of this. This is not a win for Kusasis. We have lost people. We will never get them back. The Mampusis have lost people. They will never then get them back. This is not a win for. I will not celebrate this. I am still mourning relatives who were killed. I still mourning people. There was a 25-year-old girl who was shot in her home. She bled throughout the night. She was shot around 9 p.m. This girl bled throughout the night. The following morning, before they were able to pick her up, she went to the hospital, struggled there for 3 days, and died. When I heard it, I couldn't believe it. These are the tragedies that we are dealing with. Why should I be celebrating? I wasn't fighting for chieftaincy, for any individual. I was simply fighting for the truth, for justice, and for lives to be saved. And this is what we thank God for.
Okay. Well, lives have been saved, and that's all. We'll look at the other aspects of this conflict, because conflicts, after it's perpetuated a while, becomes very multi-faceted. We'll come to that. But government says it will release a statement on this matter. Looking at the fact that now Asante Hene has presented the report, he's read it, government says it will release a statement. What are your expectations for the statement?
I am hoping that the government's statement will simply be a white paper that accepts the Asante Hene report and comes out with ways to implement it. That is what a white paper does. And a white paper gives the report a legal backing. And for me, this is what happened in 1957. After the report was submitted by the commission in 1957, the governor general came out with a white paper, simply giving the report legal status, a legal framework within which the recommendation can be implemented. This is what I expect the government to do. And I'm glad to hear the president say last night that that will be done within 24 hours. The paper is very important. But what is going to be most important, and more important for some of us, is the implementation phase. And I hope, and I know the government has been engaging the chiefs, the Nayiri and the Bokunaba. The government should continue to do that. The president should do that. All politicians should do that. I am pleading with all politicians to bury their individual party political interests.
Since you mentioned politicians, where does the MP for Boko Central stand in all of these? Honorable Mahama Yarga.
Honorable Mahama Yarga is a junior brother. I see him as a junior brother. And he is somebody that we adored and loved. That's why he's been in parliament for all these years. Mahama Yarga has been very much caught in the crossroads because his father is a Kosasi, his mother is a Mamprusi. So for him, he was not very clear. He was himself conflicted as to what to do. And I think Mahama Yaraga's conflictual situation, mindset, didn't help matters.
Okay.
He was clear at some point that he told Nayiri that, look, this thing we are fighting over, it's not going to work again in the 21st century. No government, no constitutional framework will allow one people group to impose a chief over another people group in the 21st century. He told Nayiri that. So Mahama Yarga thought he could use those behind the scenes words and wisdom and advice for it to work. It didn't work. So for the people on the ground, the Kosasi people in Boko have been very frustrated with Mahama Yarga, even the Mamprusi people. And one thing that he hasn't helped matters to is during the political party campaign, the 2024, he went and stood in public and used the situation. He mishandled the situation. He used it for his political ends.
He did.
He did. And he himself has owned up to that. So that's what I'm saying. They've all made mistakes. I was very frustrated with Mahama Yarga, even with my senior brother Cletus Avoka, who I adore, that they should not use this issue for their political gains. We should all be seeking ways of bringing solutions to it.
Was it for selfish interest?
They are politicians. At the end of the day, they are politicians. I am not a politician. I am an academic. I am a minister. I am a pastor. That's all I do. I speak the truth and I say it plainly. Politicians, it is about power. It's about their fame. And whatever they will do to win power, they will do it.
People say that he has not been to Boko in a while. Is that true?
It's true. It's not safe for him. Because because of the frustration.
So how is he advocating for you in the House?
Well, I hope that people kept telling us he was advocating behind the scenes. And I want to believe that. He was doing it, you see. But in this matter, when you are representing people, they want to hear from you from time to time. You can't just retreat and hide behind the scenes and be silent. Mahama Yaraga's silence didn't help. Look, I have told my consultancy people, in 2023, when Seydou Abagre was skinned by Nairi, and the president at the time, Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, came out and said this was illegal. This was unacceptable. If the NDC, as a party, if Mahama Yaraga had advised the NDC leadership to come out and support Akufo-Addo and support the NPP, to stand together and say, look, Boko issue is closed. It has been dealt with. It cannot be opened again. If they had done that, I am telling you, the conflict would have been resolved much earlier. This is what I hold against Mahama Yaraga and even my senior brother Cletus Avoka, because some of us were pushing for that. Please come out and support the NPP. Don't make this a party political issue. Support the NPP and let us resolve this matter as a bipartisan situation. They didn't do it. And this has dragged the conflict for another year. And this year, more people have been killed, more than the previous 3 years. Why did we have to do that? This is what people are not happy with Mahama Yaraga on the ground. But I'm hoping that one of the things I still will call for is a public inquiry into the Boko skin saga.
Okay.
Because people have to be held accountable.
Good. People have to be held accountable for this. For the public inquiry, what are the objectives for that public inquiry, apart from people being held accountable?
Yes, the public inquiry is to establish the facts surrounding what actually happened. What led to the funeral being performed after 40 years of somebody's death. That triggered the whole thing. A funeral, as I talked about yesterday, 40 years somebody has died. He was disskinned and he died. And 40 years later, that funeral is performed. That triggered the whole thing. What brought that about? Who enabled it? I can tell you from where I sit that the government of the day, the NPP government, I have no party card. I have never had a party card. I've been in my academics all these years. The NPP government, Akufo-Addo and his leadership at the top level, I believe, were strongly against what happened. Why would Akufo-Addo support that? Why would he support that? What will he gain from it? However, there were elements within that same government who were behind the scenes supporting what was going on.
Elements such as?
At lower level. Government appointees on the ground, at the national level, at lower level elements. And you know, when you are sitting on top, you can't see everything.
Because I want to establish the connection, because if Akufo-Addo at that time boldly came out to say that the enskinment of Mr. Abagri was illegal, it would really beg the question for which he would, or his government would also support a funeral that will be conducted and destabilize the area.
That's what I'm saying. Akufo-Addo himself would not support it. He did not support it. That is my belief. But there were elements with it. You know, a government is a huge machinery. You have all kinds of people in it. And you cannot be everywhere at the same time, all the time. So there were always elements, rogue elements in every institution. And I think there were rogue elements in the government. There were rogue elements in the military. There were rogue elements in the police.
Okay.
So these elements, unless you establish a public inquiry to fish this out, the way the military behaved, the brutality, when an incident happens in one area, and you just mobilize the military to go and beat everybody in that area, where in this modern age does that help bring a solution to problems? We know of investigations, we know of intelligence gatherings, that you can then get to the right culprits, pick them up, prosecute them. When the military came to Boko, in my view, and I've talked to the military leadership, the police leadership was trekking back and forth to Boko. They themselves were not there to bring about a resolution.
They were not?
They were not.
What did they come
They were there to protect certain elements. They told me that they were sent there to protect the Boko Naba and to protect the Mamprisi community because they are the minority. This is what the security themselves told me. So if this is your mandate, how do you bring about peace? And I say you should be here to arrest, apprehend, and prosecute the criminals, not to protect communities. So when you have that mandate, and the security to the politicians, their hands were tied in some areas because they have to take orders from the politicians. So it was a messy situation. People died needlessly. A public inquiry will bring all of this out. I want to know which security elements contribute to the problem. It was not just Kosasi Mamprisi. The security elements contributed to it. Politicians contributed to it. Ministers contributed to it. Local leaderships contributed to it. There should be a public inquiry so that those who died, their death will not be in vain. And people should be compensated for the loss of lives and the loss of property.
Now, finally, let's come to some of the things that came up because of this conflict. The proliferation of arms.
Yes.
The people within the community do not just get up and get arms. But for the period, arms trooped into Boko.
Yes.
The regular Boko person had arms on them.
Yes.
People were burning buses,
yes.
killing anyhow, just indiscriminately. Is it that a certain enterprise has also been set up in Boko when it comes to arms? So it would be for the benefit of that enterprise if the conflict is perpetuated.
We are all deeply concerned about the proliferation of arms in Boko. And it's not just Boko, it's the Kosasi area, the whole area. 6 districts. Boko, Zabila, Pusiga, Pinduri, Garu, and Tempane. These 6 districts, they are now awash with arms. That was because of a failure of the security that I was telling you. The security was not there to enforce the law. They were there to protect certain elements. And people felt that we had to get arms to protect ourselves. I can't be sleeping in my home without protection, and some people will come in the night and slaughter me and my wife and children. So people felt the need. Look, individuals sold landed property to buy weapons.
They did.
They did. They did.
Who was supplying the weapons?
The weapon. You know, Boko is near Burkina. Boko is just a mile or 2 across to Togo. There's militant insurgents in those areas. Arms are awash. People cross over to sell arms from that side, and they buy medical supplies from Ghana, from the Boko side back to Burkina and back to Togo. So arms were proliferated throughout. And apart from that, let me tell you, this was talking about elements within the state. Just this year, we've had reports, official reports, that arms were missing. A cache of arms were missing from the national security setup. And they found some of those arms in Boko. How did those arms get away from the national security in Accra to Boko? Security elements were involved. That's what I'm telling you. It was a whole enterprise. Apart from the militants trading arms, there were security elements supplying the conflict parties with arms. They were supplying the parties with arms and ammunition, selling them. This all happened. If there's a public inquiry, we will get to the bottom of these things. People will be held accountable, and it will be stopped. If not, if we paper over these things and people are not held accountable. One of the things I said I have against him was when during Akufo-Addo's time, he came out and called for a public inquiry. When there were some murders in one of the areas in Boko called Zogen, he came out and he went to Shiraj. He wrote to Shiraj that there must be an investigation. He came to government. He's a majority leader. He's gone quiet. People are asking why. Why can't that inquiry take place now? So that's something. Politicians will always be politicians. One of the things that I'm so glad about is that the Boko area, Kusasis and Mampusis, this conflict has taught them a lesson that you can never count on politicians. You should be careful. Don't trade your lives for any reason to a politician. You have to be very careful and be smart. When you're casting your vote, cast your vote. I've always said, look, don't confuse chieftaincy with politics. I'm a Kusasi. If I decide today I want to be an NDC, I'll be an NDC. It has nothing to do with Boko chieftaincy. If I want to be MPP, I'll be MPP. Nothing to do with Boko chieftaincy. But they made the people to believe that if you belong to this party, this Kusasi party, this Mampusi party, that is another falsehood that was peddled by the politicians. Because until Dr. Bawumia came, the whole of Nalerugu area, Wale Wale, was NDC. It was CPP. The only elements within the area that was MPP was the Boko Mampusis, small community of Boko Mampusis, who have been die-hard MPP supporters, even voting against the Nalerugu Mampusi parties. So, it is not true that Kusasis are MDC or CPP and Mampusis are NDC, MPP or UP. No. At one point, until Dr. Bawumia became NPP member, Kusasis and Mampusis were voting the same way. So, people have come to use the conflict to divide us further. And I am saying that I met Dr. Bawumia and I said, we must call for peace. We must find ways for our two communities to celebrate together. I am still prepared to work on that with my colleagues from the Mampusi side. There are a lot that we can celebrate together. We should look at those areas rather than fighting over something that we know is gone. It will never come back again. Let's accept it. Okay. And let's find ways to move forward.
Prof, in waiting for government's reports, a white paper, and what we are going to do with political will, is it going to be a long road to burying the okra stick?
I can foresee that. I think the government has to find ways to cool down tempers. I can imagine the Mampusis are very upset now. They are having a sense of loss now. They feel that maybe they have been humiliated by Asante Hene. That's how some of them will feel. But you see, the problem is that if the government can manage that, cool down the tempers, when something happens, people flare up. Give them time. Give them the space to cool down. Find people to go in, talk to them, cool down the tempers. When that is done enough, enforce the law. After the law, it has to be enforced. The law has to be enforced. Said your boundary has to be removed. As something in the head. That is the only way that peace will come back to the area. And then work towards the burial of the okra stick. Kusasis know it. Mampusis know it. In fact, it happened in Bolga. The Kusasis and Mampusis killed each other in Bolga. They were attacked in Bolga Tanga, which is not a Kusasi area. It's not a Mampusi. It's a Frafra area. When the Bolga Traditional Council arose, they called the two communities to bury the okra stick. And they did it. They performed the ritual and it brought peace back to Bolga. So if they get the right people, and I'm hoping, I will say that Mahama Yarga didn't help. Dr. Bawumia didn't help either. Dr. Bawumia is a Mampusi. He's also a brother. Dr. Bawumia and I are not very far apart from each other in terms of age. He is also a brother. I have met him over this matter. He should also step in. Mahama Yaraga can step in. I asked Mahama Yaraga. I don't expect Mahama Yaraga to supply arms to Kusas to fight Mampusis or vice versa. This is your mother and your father fighting. But you can bring about reconciliation. You can work hard to reconcile them. Mahama Yaraga has a duty, not just as a majority leader, a politician of very high national repute, from the area, but as a Kusasa and a Mampusi product to help bring about reconciliation. He can talk to both sides. Mama Yaragas has that responsibility. Dr. Bawumia has that responsibility. He's a statesman. He's an intelligent man. He should step in, talk to the Mampusi side, and help bring about the reconciliation. I will put the reconciliation burden on Mahama Yaraga and on Dr. Bawumia.
Reconciliation burden.
The reconciliation burden on them.
Doc, Prof, thank you so much for your time this morning. We really are also hoping that reconciliation happens in Boko for peace to prevail so that we can see Boko take up its shape. Boko is a shell of itself, I believe.
Yeah. Boko used to be the most vibrant, commercially productive town in the whole of the upper region. People went from Bolga to Boko to do shopping. People went from all over the upper regions to Boko to shop. So for me, Boko was the commercial hub, not just in Ghana but Burkina, Togo. People come to Boko. We have relatives. My sisters are married in Togo. Some of them are married in Burkina. When I go home, I drive across Togo. From Togo, I go to Burkina, and then I come back to Ghana to my home. That is how connected. Boko is a vibrant trading hub. We want Boko to go back to that status.
Okay.
And that's why we are praying. All
right. That's why you're praying. Doc, Prof, thank you so much. We're most grateful that you could make it here today for our conversations. We look forward to seeing the reports from the president, and we look forward to speaking with you the more. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you, Professor. Reverend Professor John Azuma is the president of the Kusau People's Congress. This conversation about mediation within Boko. That's all for our first story. After this break, we'll bring you more conversations. Stay with us.
Rent back with the Pia Upa. Come on, let me see what. We're busy, my friend, see before.
It's the Telecel Too Much Money promo. Win cash daily, weekly, and a grand prize of 1.2 million Ghana cedis. Just reload or buy a bundle with Telecel Cash to earn points and stand a chance to win big. Dial *500# or visit the Telecel Play app to obtain and start winning in the Telecel Too Much Money promo. Terms and conditions apply. This promo is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform.
When is happening? If you're a baby, many schedule no. If you know, meto chiaka. Inti ene, uno ba no mpe baby amobeda. Oh, no abeka. You did too much money. No matter.
Telecel, connecting energies.
Gino Magic Pepper and Onion. A delicious tomato mix with tomato, pepper and onion. No grinding, no blending. Ya yenini na da da da. So pa, mediane no abeng.
Come on, Gino, do your magic.
And papa, no kunu abefi.
Tasty magic.
And your daddy trying to kiss again.
Gino Magic Pepper and Onion. The magic that brings them home.
This advert is FDA approved.
This week's been wild. New releases dropping, artists blowing up, moments going crazy on the timeline. Don't worry, we've got you.
We pull the highlights, the date, the event, everything you need to know, and then the real fun starts.
The official top 10 songs running the streets, the airwaves, and your playlists.
If the culture is talking about it, we are counting it down.
This is the rundown.
You're welcome back. You're still watching ABC in the morning here on ABC News GH. We are still streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube, and so you don't want to miss out on all of the conversations we are having today on the show. It's time for our main discussion. There's so many conversations we'll be having today on our main discussion here. We look at Boko again, we'll also look at the Pandai seat. What becomes of the seat at this point? The Supreme Court has directed that the rerun that the EC sought to hold be put on hold until all court processes have been exhausted. And so that is how far we have come with regards to the Pandai parliamentary election rerun. And so for both parties, what really is the way forward for them? What are they doing concerning this parliamentary rerun? That we'll be looking at that today on the main discussion. Additionally, we'll be looking at Boko, like I said, and something very interesting within the news. You'll remember that for the ECOWAS conversations, the one thing has come out of it, that President Mahama, you beg your pardon, for the AU conversation, we heard that members within our bloc, our part of the AU, member countries said that when it gets to our turn, that is in 2027, they will be throwing their support behind President John Dramani Mahama. Good news for us, isn't it? It is good news. I mean, Ghana stands as a beacon of democracy, of excellence within the area, the sub-Saharan Africa. And so for members within our bloc, the conversation is that when it gets to our turn for AU leadership, they would be throwing their support behind President John Dramani Mahama. Now, President Mahama is signaling that for the former flag bearer for the movement of change, Alan Tremantin, he has some plans for him when he assumes leadership at the AU. That is what President Mahama is saying to Alan Tremantin. How interesting is it? Yesterday when I saw the news, I went on social media as usual, as I would, and enjoyed some of the conversations around it. That President Mahama giving a signal that there will be a key role for Alan Tremantin when Ghana assumes a leadership position at the AU. And so that is what it tells us. Some have said that, so Alan, they're trying to put Alan in a certain light which seems to be unfavorable. The others who say that, well, your good work will always speak for you on this matter. And so there's just a lot. It's interesting. Well, we got to understand this when the foreign minister Okujetu Ablakwa spoke at an African summit. I think we can listen to it and appreciate it better so that we can have conversations all around that.
We had very, very good news over the weekend from ECOWAS. All the West African presidents endorsed him as the next Africa Union chairperson in 2027. So this convening, it's very timely and very fortuitous. And he will be looking forward to the report so that he can hit the ground running in 2027 when he becomes the chairperson of the African Union. And he has asked me to tell our convener, the Honorable John Alan Kwejo Tremantin, that he will have a very special place when he becomes AU chairperson because of the work he is doing. So we are definitely going to need the expertise, the experience, and this very reputable organization the Honorable John Alan Kojo Martin has put together.
Well, and he has asked me to tell the convener, the Honorable John Alan Tremantain, that he will have a special place when he becomes AU chairperson because of the work he's doing. Very interesting. I love the commentary around this matter. It's good for our democracy when everybody gets to share their thoughts on matters such as these. And so these are some of the conversations we'll be having today on the main discussion here on ABC in the morning. We are looking forward to having these conversations with Mahdi Jibril, Deputy Director of Elections and IT for the NDC, and Isaac Boamanyaku, the MP for Efia constituency. We'll have these conversations with them, but especially on the Supreme Court halting the Pandai parliamentary election rerun. These are some of the conversations we will be having here today on ABC in the morning. And so also we'll be looking forward to you speaking with us. When we open the phone lines, you can call and share your thoughts on this matter. We'll look forward to hearing what you say on this matter. All of these that we are discussing, all of these things that we are discussing today on ABC in the morning. We are doing well to establish contact with our guests. As soon as we establish contact, we'll have conversations with them on this. For a lot of people, well, we can now celebrate our Christmas not looking at any elections that will be conducted. And so for them now, this is a Christmas where they can relax. Supreme Court says that EC suspend all arrangements for the rerun of the parliamentary election in Pandai. Wait for the determination of the application challenging the High Court's decision that ordered the rerun. It was a 5-member panel that sat on this case. It was headed by Justice Gabriel Puangmang, and he stated that the election, that this decision would ensure that the election does not overreach the court in the determination of a certiorari application filed by the NPP's Matthew Nyindam. You know, Matthew Nyindam is one of the people caught in this whole issue. For him, he believes that it is a personal attack on his person, this seat that the NDC is going after. It's a personal attack. They just want the seat away from him. They want the seat away from him. But there's just so much that we'll be looking at, so that we await the determination of the certiorari. See whether indeed the High Court did not have within its jurisdiction to look at this matter. But very interesting, very, very interesting. But the question is, does it mean that the people of Pandai are going to be without any representative up until a determination is made? Because the seat was declared vacant about a week or two ago. And so at this moment, nobody is speaking for the people of Pandai within Parliament, within the House. And this is not one that anybody wants to not have representation is not the best to look at. But so it raises a lot of questions. How far does this matter go? Will the speaker order the clerk to recall that letter? Will the determination they made, that declaration of a vacant seat, will it be annulled? Will it be rescinded, so that they would have a representation up until the time when the High Court makes any decision? There's just so much to look at when it comes to this matter about this case, this Pandai parliamentary seat. It also raises questions about having the right person at the place. Well, the NDC has constantly said that the matter is not really about the numbers they have. It's about the right representation. It is not about the numbers that they have. It is about the right representation. And so, although they may have the hugest of numbers within Parliament, the huge numbers do not take decision for a constituency here. I do not say that if my constituency does not have an MP, because NDC has 1,000 MPs, has 100 MPs, oh, we are fine. No, it doesn't matter the number that the NDC has in Parliament. They believe that the right person must take the seats. The right person must take the seat. That is the decision of the NDC. It is why they keep going after it. They say if they've seen any infractions, they've seen any issues with the elections, they are going to bring it to light. And then if the elections must be annulled for another one to be rerun, so be it. They are ready to be part of any elections. And so this is how far this matter has gone with regard to the Pandai seat. The NDC already tells us that there are some 2 extra seats that the NPP are occupying that they'll be coming after. They believe that the NPP took this seat unlawfully. The NPP took this seat illegally. And so they will be going after the seat through legal processes. And so very, very interesting days ahead. Joining us on the line is private legal practitioner and constitutional lawyer Yao Dankwa. Good morning, sir. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Good morning.
The Supreme Court has ordered that the EC suspend all activities with regards to the Pandai parliamentary rerun. Did you see this coming, sir?
Well, I think the Supreme Court have actually spoken, and I think the decision of the Supreme Court, as you know, will bring confidence back to the citizens that our judicial system actually really works. Because if you look at what they've done, there was an application before the Supreme Court to determine whether into and the matter has not been determined. And then the Parliament decided that they wanted to go ahead to declare the seat vacant and cause the EC to do a rerun, right?
Hello, sir. Council, can you hear me? We seem to be having some challenges with your network, sir. Could you please reposition so we can hear you better?
Right. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
You can, is it?
Yes, I can. So please go ahead.
Very well. So I think the decision of the Supreme Court was proper, and it was what everybody was expecting to happen. Because if there is an arguable case, there's an issue that needs to be determined. It is only proper that matter will be determined before the EC or Parliament or whoever interested parties are to take any further steps. But this they were taking steps before the Supreme Court could actually deliberate on the matter. In essence, they are trying to put a cart before the horse, and that is not right. So the decision of the Supreme Court was to reaffirm the independence of the judiciary and also the checks and balances, and to ensure that there's a rule of law that operates in Ghana. And it didn't come as a surprise to me, but rather I think that ruling in the Supreme Court actually affirming their independence of operations in Ghana.
Okay, but what then happens to this seat? The clerk has already written to EC declaring that the seat is vacant. In the interim, do we leave the people of Pandai without representation in Parliament, or does the Supreme Court's decision overturn the declaration of that seat vacant?
That is so. Well, I won't say overturn, because once you use the word overturn, it means that the Supreme Court has fully determined the matter. But the Supreme Court has placed more or less an injunction on them, right? It's prohibiting the EC to take any further steps until the matter before it has been determined. And that is what should happen. So what it means in layman's terms, that the EC have no power whatsoever to go ahead with the rerun until the Supreme Court have determined one way or the other.
Would you say that the Parliament, the clerk, hastened too much in declaring that seat vacant? Because if the Supreme Court was going to come to this decision, ask that all of the court processes be exhausted before any rerun took place, shouldn't the clerk have hastened slowly or threaded more cautiously on this matter?
You know, let me, for your listeners, let me try to educate them a bit on this, constitutional provisions that we have. Now, you know, the Parliament is an arm of government. You have three arms of government: the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. And Parliament falls within the legislature. Of course, Parliament, within their own right as an independent arm of the government, have taken a decision. But there's also something called checks and balances, where the judiciary have to check on the legislature, and they believe that they were wrong to declare the seat vacant when the matter is before the judiciary for determination, right? So the ruling of the Supreme Court is a check on the legislature to say that you cannot exceed your powers. You know, as we say that power corrupt and absolute power corrupt absolutely. So the decision of the Supreme Court is to tell Parliament that your power is not an absolute power, and that you need, there should be an oversight on you, and that the judiciary have exercised an oversight on the legislature, which is the Parliament, to keep them in check, to ensure that they don't bring any chaos into a system of government. So the ruling of the Supreme Court is a check on the Parliament to ensure that Parliament does not exceed its powers.
In all of this, what does this present to us in the way we organize ourselves, especially with the Parliament? So much has come up from there, various interpretations of orders here and there. The clerk now has been sued for contempt of court because of the declaration he made by writing to the EC. How do we organize ourselves better so that the situation does not become murkier and the ordinary Ghanaian does not really understand what's happening?
Oh, right. Okay. You know, with every growing economy and every growing democracy, we have to learn and we have to, keep ourselves abreast with what is going on. And me as a constitutional lawyer and also as a lecturer, I think whatever is happening now, though unfortunate as it might be, but it's a learning curve for all of us, right? That we are putting things in place to ensure that in future parliament and future governments, bodies like the judiciary or the legislature or even the executive cannot do whatever they like, right? The speaker was wrong to declare the seat vacant when that very thing is being challenged in the court, and the court is the appropriate forum for any challenge to go before it to pronounce on it or to make a determination on it as to whether or not there's a valid case or not. And the speaker, what he did was taking the law into his own hands to become a judge in his own cause, and the citizens have put him in check. That's why he's been cited for contempt, and that's why there's been a ruling as we have yesterday. He's not powerful than anybody else. He's equally as powerful as the Chief Justice and the President. They're all three arms of government, and he cannot overreach any of the arms of government because he's the head of the legislature. Okay. And this goes to show that our democracy is working, and the checks and balances is actually working.
All right. Council, let me hold you for just a moment and bring in the Deputy Director for Elections and IT for the NDC so he can also have a say on this matter. Madi Jibril, thank you for your time, sir.
You're welcome.
This is how far the matter has gone. You as the NDC were very much in Pandai campaigning for Daniel Watpal ahead of the 30th December rerun. Supreme Court has directed EC to halt. How are you feeling as a party?
Let me say good morning to your viewers. yes, we're in Pandai, as well as the MPP also in Pandai. I can say without doubt, in some of the hotels that we wanted to go and then book, the MPP already booked those hotels for the election on the 30th. So both parties were engaging the constituents of Pandai. For us, on the issue of the court have not cancelled the elections. What they only say is that the MPP were only making noise on the streets that they have served our candidate, so they are going to Supreme Court for ruling. Apparently, it came out to show that they didn't serve our candidate, so they went to the court to say that they were not able to find him. Court have directed that now serve him to come on 30th. We are okay with the date. In fact, although because the Electoral Commission has given 30th, we were to do our party duty to go and conduct elections. However, it's good for us to see this election not coming out in this month, because this is our first year of resetting Christmas, and then you find us being in constituency working with that, celebrating this Christmas. Our wish was to have this election come in January, and I think that it will manifest that way.
Well, Madi, you believe that the elections will still hold?
What will stop the elections? Are we saying that we want to set a precedent that anytime we go to elections, find a way for electoral commissioners to manipulate the elections, and then once somebody goes to parliament, to become member of parliament? Is that what we want to see in this country? Then I can rise to court and say the court, because I've won the election, I've gone to court, go to Supreme Court and tend the issues. That's what we want to see. And if that's what they want to see, then they should to put it, to mark it anywhere that then people will never even come to power if that's going to be. We went to Ablekumanov, and we told people of Ablekumanov that it is not about the sympathy. It's about doing the right thing. You go for elections, and the electoral commissioner can decide to go and collate the result without informing other parties. And that's what we want to see, that kind of election we want to see in this country. In any case, this election that we went to court with, the EC has their lawyers in court, and they manage the elections. They couldn't defend the errors that they caused the elections to have this election to annul. What the NDC and NPP are saying is just about the political talks. But the electoral commissioner legal persons, what did they say when they went to the court? So yes, the courts have ruled, have directed that they will rule on 13th. We are waiting. We believe that the election will still come on. As I speak to you, I know the NPP is on the phone again. We are still on the phone. We'll go back to the phone. I only came to Accra because yesterday we have a next meeting to approve our roadmap for the reorganization. Other than that, we will be on the phone until the election comes up.
Okay. Well, Madi, we also understand that the processes are delaying because Daniel Nsala Watbao is not making himself available for service.
The lawyers will deal with those issues. The lawyers will deal with those issues. So I don't have a problem. For me, I'm a party officer who believes that the field work is the game. I'm still concentrating on the field. The same thing when we had the issue of the sequencing, it is a back and forth in the court, from Supreme Court or from the Supreme Court, Appeals Court. By the end of the day, we want the elections in the North. So we wait to see. For me, it's to still continue engaging my constituents, the council executives and branch executives, to prepare them towards the elections. Whatever the legal department will do, that is for them. I am just implementing and working towards my party works.
Do you believe that this extended period gives you an opportunity to sell your message the more? That those who believe that at this point NDC should leave the case, leave the seat, because Global Info Analytics, that is really respected in terms of polling, has placed Matthew Nyindam some 4 points ahead of Nsala Watbao. And so with all that is happening, maybe it is an indication that you should step away before it's too late.
I believe you engaged me before during the Akwetia by-elections, and I challenge you to go and check Global Info Analytics, their first poll on Akwetia by-elections. The NPP was given 52%, as against NDC candidate of 41%. Okay, we went and won the elections. No, I am not surprised with the Musa Dankwe's post that has given Matthew 50%. And I've been surprised that it's not about 56%. Because for the past 3 weeks or so, the name that you hear from Akpanda is Matthew. In fact, nobody is mentioning NDC candidates because it's not the focal point in the elections. Because these issues, the court issues, the person you mentioned most is Matthew. So analysis will show, polls will show that the name is popular. But is it popular on the ground in terms of ballot to vote on election day? No. We know what caused the elections. We know there was a rigging. We'll block the rigging element in the elections, which is about 4,000. So take the 4,000 out. And we know what also our executive, some of them also, what caused them in the elections. We work towards it. These two issues is what we are taking to a Pandai to win the elections.
Well, for your way forward, this issue now extends beyond December 30. As a party, how are you organizing yourself to ensure that the seats becomes yours? You make reference to Akwetia that the initial polls did not favor you. However, you were able to turn the tides in your favor. Pandai stands as a seat that you would need to make a statement. And so how are you organizing yourselves for that?
You see, in the first place, if you pick any analysis, constituency that presidential, the party in power wins in the elections, and there's an issue that elections, the parties going back to win the elections. Currency showed it. NDC lost the seat during the 2012 elections. But when we went to the by-elections in Talensi, we won the elections because we were in power at that time. Those things normally place. And then apart from using that one, I'm saying that rigging in the Panda elections will not happen in any by-elections that we are going. 2, our challenge as a party, we know we are also working towards that issues in Panda. And those two things will help us, especially that we've already won the presidential in Panda, meaning we are strong in Panda. We are very strong in Panda, and we will make that message clear in Panda.
You make that message clear in Panda. Madi, and we understand that you need to run to a meeting, and so we'll thank you at this point and be waiting for what your party would be bringing. But finally, before you go, we understand that President Mahama has plans for Alan Kwadwo Tremantin when he assumes leadership of AU. It's raised some eyebrows. Madi, there are questions that this is a reward for the work Alan did for the NDC in destabilizing the NPP ahead of the 2024 elections.
I think that all those who do that analysis is unfair. And it's only people who think that they are the only human beings in this country, not other people. When another won or before one election, didn't he appoint PNC officers in his party? So NDC is doing it. So because somebody has worked for you, fine. If his contribution has helped us today for fuel to be reduced, that MPP is no more in government and you're rolling him for him doing the good thing, that's okay. But I think that people doing this analysis are making a bad analysis because this is kind of a hatred. This can be jealousy that they are doing. Now, Akufo-Addo this same appointment of our PNC officers, PNC flag bearers who contested elections. MPP appointed them in their government. So what is it wrong about NDC appointing anybody in our government from other party? Is it wrong for you to bring other people to contribute to this country? Is it wrong?
So this is not a reward.
Do we need somebody to destabilize MPP after destroying this country? When we went to Akwetia, did MPP participated in? Did Alan participated in Akwetia or Ablekumanov?
So, Madi,
what was Alan's vote? What was Alan's vote in the 2024 election, as against the vote we won in election 2024?
So, Madi, Alan did not help the NDC, for which you are rewarding him.
Alan came to contest to win elections, believing that Nanado MPP are not better parties to lead this country. And that's the message he brought up. And then we also won election. But we believe that Ghanaians, whoever has something in him, we should give an opportunity to serve. So we are giving Alan an opportunity to serve, and the Ghanaians are warriors. So who should we bring? Are they expect you to go and bring Nanado or Bawumia, who doesn't understand the economy, who can just talk without knowing what he's doing? Very soon we are going to appoint even some MPP executives, because we know some of them that we're going to appoint them. Don't forget again, you know that the Ghana airport, the CEO there is an MPP member, but we are still keeping her there. Did she work for NDC?
Well, Madi, thank you so much for your time this morning. We look forward to speaking with you the more.
Thank you.
Madi Jibril is the Deputy Director of Elections for the NDC. Let me go back to lawyer Yao Dankwa so that we can wrap up the conversation with him. Sir, I come back to you. Thank you so much for your time and for staying with us. Moving forward, how do you see us dealing with matters about our elections so that it does not take too long like we are seeing?
You know, and I was listening to your last call, your last contributor, right? And of course, he's very passionate about his party and whatnot. But if we don't get the judicial system right, we don't get the proceedings right, we will not have any political party in Ghana. We'll have anarchy. And what the court is doing is trying to bring sanctity into our system and bring proper procedure into our system, right? Whether or not the elections will go ahead will be determined when they have given their ruling. If they give their ruling and they said that indeed there should be a rerun and they support the ruling of the judge, that will happen. If they overrule the judge and they said it shouldn't be, the person who have elected is duly elected, there will be no elections. So let us, sometimes when we come and have a platform, not to fuel these sort of uncertainty among the Ghanaian population. Me as a lawyer, what I'll say is that moving forward, the system is working. If you have an issue, you challenge it. When you challenge it, you should be given an audience. Once you are given an audience, there will be a determination. When that determination is made final, that ends it. And that is our system, and that will continue to be our system in the future. That's how I see it.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, sir, for your time this morning.
Thank you.
Lawyer Yao Dankwa is a private legal practitioner, a constitutional lawyer, also sharing his thoughts on this matter. At this point, we understand that no election will be rerun in Pandai on the 30th of December 2025. The Supreme Court says that all processes must be exhausted before there can be a rerun in Pandai. So when it is exhausted, we'll know whether indeed there will be a rerun or not. But we all are looking at Parliament to see what Parliament does following the decision by the Supreme Court, because at the moment that seat in Parliament has been declared vacant, and so nobody is representing the people of Pandai. After this break, we'll come back and have some more conversations. Stay with us.
Rent back with the beer open. Come on, come see what? Where this guy? My friend, see before.
It's the Telecel Too Much Money promo. Win cash daily, weekly, and a grand prize of 1.2 million Ghana cedis. Just reload or buy a bundle with Telecel Cash to earn points and stand a chance to win big. Dial *500# or visit the Telecel Play app to opt in and start winning in the Telecel Too Much Money promo. Terms and conditions apply. This promo is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform.
When is campaign? If you're a baby, many schedule no. If you know, meto etiaka. Inti ene, uno ba no mpe baby amobeda. Oh no abeka. You did too much money. No matter.
Telecel, connecting energies.
Hey, so mommy, who is going to do my wedding jollof?
Oh, Kwame, you know our secret, right?
Yeah.
Efia.
Yes, me. I've got it.
Now add your Gino jollof mix.
The perfect blend of tomatoes, pepper, and fine herbs and spices to ensure a consistent taste every time. And there you have it, your original Ghana jollof.
Jollof so good.
Jollof so good. Tasty, yeah.
What is going on here?
Enjoy jollof the Ghana way. Gino jollof is made with a perfect blend of tomatoes, pepper, and fine herbs and spices to ensure a consistent taste every time.
This advert is FDA approved.
Playing for your country, easy. Scoring, easy. Winning, easy. You know what be easy now? Kibo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Easy. It gets everything inside. Gary, creamer, sugar, roasted granules. Just add water. Sharp my soakings make ready. Taste and energy. Made easy. I'm a match winner, but the real champion is Kibo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Champion taste.
Also available strawberry, coconut, and chocomore. This advert is FDA approved.
Magic pepper and onion, a delicious tomato mix with tomato, pepper and onion. No grinding, no blending. Ya yeni na da da da. So pa mediane no abe.
Come on, Gino, do your magic.
And papa no kunu abefi.
Tasty magic.
Gino Magic Pepper and Onion. The magic that brings them home.
This advert is FDA approved.
Imagine a sport without rules, a game without passion, an arena without chance. What drives the champions? What fuels the rivalry? What separates the winners from the rest in the world of sports?
Eugene Soti, your chief data guy on the Talking Point. On the African Tracker, I'll break down the performance of your favorite African players abroad, scrutinizing every detail and exploring the nuances and rules governing the game.
Meet us in your area for Area Take as we plug into sports perspective and hear your thoughts on every play of the game.
I'm James Makion, your go-to expert for everything local. I'll review the fixtures from the locker room to the pitch and from the management to the fans. I've got you covered.
Oh la la! Don't miss out on the double excitement. It's a fun pack, pulsating and complete wrap of everything in sports, from boxing to football, tennis, NBA and more. Sports World on ABC as every Wednesday from 7 to 8 p.m. Sports World on ABC. Sports beyond borders.
welcome back. You're still watching ABC in the morning here on ABC News GH. Let's take you to Parliament. Yesterday, there was an interesting debate in the Minority Chief Whip, Frank Anodompre, raised a concern about some MPs not attending to parliamentary business, and he's calling for a reshuffling in government so that it would allow MPs to do the work that they need to do in representing their constituents. It was an interesting debate. Let's take it to Parliament and let's all enjoy that debate. We'll come back and have some more here.
And I intend to limit myself to specific portions of the report. Separation of waste. There's nowhere in the world that waste is not separated. It is only in Africa or in Ghana that it's difficult to separate waste. That we can separate the biodegradable waste from the non-biodegradable waste. We are not doing that. In other jurisdictions, there are designated containers for biodegradable waste. And that is the start of waste processing. Speaker, if we can't process our waste, which is a resource, if we can't process our waste, then we are wasting the waste, so to speak, because this waste can be converted to other forms. For instance, waste into energy, electricity generation, all over the world is done. And we generate so much. Now, our greatest challenge is how to even decommission landfill sites. Landfill sites all over the country has become a death trap. And we cannot pretend all is well. It's a problem. If you come to Insumia, a suburb of Insawama Dredri, latchet is being produced, which is seeping into the water table of the environment. And that is poison, practically poison to flora and fauna. So, Speaker, we have to, as the Honorable Jerry said, we also have to change our ways. Way of life has to be changed. But the thrust of the matter is that we cannot treat this as, it must follow the core activities of the ministry. Waste is huge. And he concluded, I was very unimpressed when the chairman said that Ato is forcing. Where is he forcing? Service providers. Then listen to me first. Well, he's trying, but it's not good enough. That's fine. Speaker, solid and liquid waste service providers. Colleagues, just listen to me. Solid and liquid waste service providers, Speaker, for close to 1 year have not been paid. Where is Ato forcing? Tell me. Ato is not paying. Ato is not paying. He's not paying. This, Speaker, these waste providers, for instance, the liquid waste generated by Parliament, I am aware the service providers for close to 1 year have not been paid. And we risk epidemic. I want to pray. Speaker, I will be very glad, and Speaker, I know you are not the type who, you are not a fan of consequential directives, but Speaker, I will pray your office. This matter cannot be left hanging. Sanitation portends on health, and health portends on productivity. So I would be glad if there could be some directives for an engagement with the finance minister to make sure that all the service providers, sanitation service providers, are paid. Ato is not paying. Ato Ntia. To it, Ato is not paying. Ato Ntia. And the service providers are crying. So I see my good friend wants to speak. If it's the case that he wants to support, I'll yield to him. He should support me so that we'll get the finance minister to Tia. When the finance minister Tia, the service providers.
I believe strongly he's up because you've converted the house into a tree speaking platform. That is why he's up. So if you can refrain from speaking tree.
It's a medium-term determination of inflation target. It is not only monetary policy which affects inflation. Fiscal policy, monetary policy affects inflation. In any case, it's the Minister for Finance who comes here to make a determination. Mr. Speaker, maybe they should be guided well. How come that in England, in the US, what is the rate of inflation? It has stayed reasonably 2%, 4%, because they are keeping the pursuit of monetary and fiscal policy to meet the inflation target. That's all the minister. Absolutely. So that is all this minister is seeking to do. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. They should read it well. Medium-term targets to determine a future target, so that both in the pursuit of monetary policy and fiscal policy, you work towards the attainment of that medium-term target. I thank you.
Mr. Speaker.
Honorable, wait, you have the last bite. Honorable Minority Leader, you are up again.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, we had considerations.
Yes, I've heard you on this matter already. That's why I'm using the word you are up again.
Mr. Speaker,
am I wrong in saying so?
Mr. Speaker, I appreciate it. Mr. Speaker, I have heard the Minister of Education using some very technical terms in an attempt to confuse this House. But Mr. Speaker, the matters are simple in language. The contention of the minority is on the express language used, that there shall be a joint determination of medium-term inflation. Simplicity. All these economies, monetary impact, fiscal impact, that is not the mainstay of the core. The burden of Honorable Opon Kroma's submission is to the effect that by introducing this mandatory provision, you will be chipping away the independence of the central bank. That is all he's saying. You've not addressed that. All those who spoke on your side could not address this very important point. And that is the issue. Why would you introduce a mandatory provision? The honorable member for Ifya argued that we know of general consultation. That is not enacted upon. We know that from time to time there are steering committee meetings that are chaired by heads of institutions, including the finance minister. These are part of the general consultation process. But what you are doing now is to bring an enactment that will make it mandatory and subject the governor to your whims and caprices if you find it convenient to do so. But we also know that as a minister you determine the political question. We have good reasons for saying that the government, the central bank, should be independent. Mr. Speaker, like the honorable member for Ifya said, this is not an enactment for the majority of which they will claim victory or otherwise. We are not in an ego field. It's an enactment to regulate an important sector of the economy for the people of Ghana. Our duty from this side is to draw your attention to some of these errors, some of these overlooks, some of these excesses. It is us who must tell you. You can't legislate to subordinate the authority and independence of the central bank to political authority. You can't do that. Then that amounts to state capture. That the political authority is capturing every independent authority we have in the country. Mr. Speaker, medium-term inflation, that is even what makes it more dangerous. Medium-term inflation, that is what makes it more dangerous. You didn't say may. If it was may, we could accommodate that. But if you say shall, Mr. Speaker, our friends must listen. And when I say it is the CSOs you listen to, I say so on good authority, because the CSOs themselves published their engagement with the executive and said that what they told the executive is what has been accepted. It's a matter of public record. It's not a Fenyo Markin who is concocting this. Meanwhile, these things, the very things that the CSOs have been telling you and you listen, are the very things we tell you from this side of the house. So why don't you avail yourself to listen to us? Rather, you throw us away, dismiss our views, look down upon our views, and think it's political because we don't share the same ideology with you. No. If you go outside, the CSOs will say the same thing. You cannot say that the Bank of Ghana should determine medium-term inflation jointly with you, the finance minister and the government. You can say that. If you say may, we will accommodate. If it may, that means a level of consultation. We can, because the essence of governance is to engage. We accept it. But if you say mandatory, do it. So if they don't do it, you won't allow them to make certain public announcements. Mr. Speaker, I have a problem with that. I think that
yes, Honorable Amabua,
the
let me hear you.
Must be accepted by the House.
Honorable Amabua, let me hear you.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Speaker, this debate is not about the independence of the Bank of Ghana, and it's already been explained. It's very clear. But, Honourable Speaker, it's important that as we debate, we make sure that we do not confuse the people of Ghana and put up facts that are incorrect, as the minority leader is trying to. He has made 3 points consistently: that we withdrew the lithium agreement because of CSOs. And let the record be clear, and this is the House of Record. I've been in this house for 5 terms, long time. I've seen ministers lay bills here, and for very good reasons, they withdraw the bills to bring it back strengthened. And that's exactly what we did. We've been working on an area of regulations to support that bill that was laid. And it was wise for me as a minister to draw it, work on the regulations so that we can bring the bill back with the regulations together. And that's a decision. It has nothing to do with CSOs, even though CSOs are very important stakeholders. And there's nothing wrong with engaging CSOs. But for you to be making this point consistently on this floor is factually wrong, inaccurate, and get your facts right.
Yes. Honorable members, I think we have debated this clause enough. I want to give the opportunity to the finance minister to do his conclusion on this matter. Honorable members, let's concentrate on the bill at stake. Finance minister, you have the concluding.
Thank you. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I vehemently disagree with the amendment as proposed by the Honorable Kojo Oponkroma. Mr. Speaker, in doing so, let me state for the records that today Ghana is in an IMF program. The IMF, as we all know, is a monetary institution. Mr. Speaker, the global monetary institution or organization is the IMF. And there is no way a government of any country can introduce a bill that seeks to take powers from the monetary authority that the IMF will approve it. Mr. Speaker, the amendment before us is only sticking to international best practice. And Mr. Speaker, let me explain. Mr. Speaker, monetary policy alone cannot anchor inflation. It doesn't matter what you do. Monetary policy or MPC's decision cannot determine what inflation will be. Mr. Speaker, it is a fact that the fiscal policies of the day, is what anchors together with the monetary policies, the inflation framework. And so if you are to have a budget before you, that says that this is where I'm going with inflation, going south, and the central bank is going north. In the end, you will not achieve your inflation target. Mr. Speaker, the two institutions of state are conjoined by an act of parliament, the PFM Act, to introduce what we call Economic Policy Coordinating Committee, so that they can talk to each other and anchor economic progress. Right, Honorable Speaker? Most countries today, medium-term inflation targeting is done by the two institutions. When I come here and present budget statement on behalf of government, Mr. Speaker, and assume that inflation is going to be, say, 8% plus or minus 2. My policies introduced in the budget should anchor that inflation inflation targeting together with the central bank's policies. And so I cannot go south for the central bank to go north. So all what we are seeking to do here is that the medium-term inflation framework must together be developed by these two institutions of state. That's it. That's it. Mr. Speaker, and what we that central bank, your monetary policy committee is extremely independent. Take your decisions. By your target, inflation target, the Ministry of Finance or government is not leaving it only to the central bank. Let's plan together. Let's plan together. Let us together anchor inflation. It is the responsibility of any government of the day, to make sure that prices of goods and services does not get out of hand. Mr. Speaker, and so, if today I am seeing food inflation, Central Bank cannot, Central Bank of Ghana cannot anchor food inflation. It is the responsibility of the government of the day to introduce policies in the fiscal year to reduce food inflation. Bank of Ghana cannot anchor food inflation. What's the role of central bank? If prices of food and services, foodstuffs are expensive, what can central bank do? Are they Ministry of Agriculture? Are they the one planting cassava and yams? No! It is the fiscal authority, the government of the day. So central bank's medium-term inflation targeting must be in sync with government policies. That's all. Mr. Speaker, saying this, I heard a minority leader say that. I heard a minority leader say that this is state capture. Mr. Speaker, this cannot be state capture. We know what state capture is. We've seen state capture before. State capture is when you get the central bank to print for you 80 billion cedis in one fiscal year. That is state capture. Mr. Speaker, we know what state capture is. We know what state capture is. State capture, let me give you one example, is when you collateralize royalties in the name of Ejapa for 20 years. That is state capture. So, Mr. Speaker, let's put this in proper perspective. What is before us has nothing to do with state capture. What is before us is to make sure that together, as the government of the day, anchor inflation and make sure that prices of goods and services are reduced. So, Speaker, that is what we are seeking to do. So, Speaker, you can propose your amendment, but Mr. Speaker, I beg to say that I will oppose that amendment. Thank you very much.
Yes, the owner of the amendment.
Mr. Speaker, I think some things have been lost in the heated exchanges that are going on. First of all, we are helping you to get this amendment right. Minister, so calm down and kindly listen to the rationale behind the arguments we are making. We are not saying that the central bank should not determine medium-term inflation. In fact, if you go to the original Act 612, it starts off under the Section 3 by saying that the primary objective of the bank is to maintain stability in the general level of prices. There is a reason for which, as part of the broader economic policy, when it comes to the maintenance of price levels, that is devolved to the central bank. And there's a reason for which it is supposed to operate independently. So while we agree that it is a good idea to bring in a clause 3A to expressly announce the determination of medium-term inflation, we are warning you that if you now in black and white say that the independent central bank should now do that, shall determine this, jointly with the government, you are even sending wrong signals at the lowest level. Today, you may believe that you are a good finance minister who is well intended and that you are only seeking to coordinate. Tomorrow, what if the person in that chair decides that he now wants literally to have fiscal dominance in making those inflation targeting decisions? And so, Mr. Speaker, my proposed amendment, and I'll leave it here, my proposed amendment is that let us just delete the words jointly with government, so that you also don't fall into this hole that is now becoming clear, that the executive literally wants to start dictating to the central bank. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
So now the proposal for the consideration of the House is not two, but to delete jointly with government. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, I've been reading the Bank of England Act of 1998, United Kingdom. And Mr. Speaker, government sets inflation targets, not the Bank of England. What the Bank of England does is to operationalize the target. That is all he is doing, so that for purpose of responsibility. How come that Ken Oforiatta as minister came here and set inflation target? Then after a few months he came and said, I'm revising my inflation target. It was not the governor who came here. It was not. No, if you want us to improve jointly, I have no problem. But them working together to set a medium-term target, you can go to the Bank of England Act of 1998. Even I say the government sets the inflation target, and then the Bank of England operationalizes the target. So, Mr. Speaker, even along the line, if the government is deviating from the inflation target, the governor will write to remind him. So that's what the governor will do. If, for instance, Honorable Atufosin says a target of 11%, and the pursuit of fiscal policy is not geared towards achieving the 11%, the governor of the Bank of Ghana will remind him. Thank you.
Honourable members, I would put a question on the revised proposed amendment by Honourable Kojo Nkrumah. So the proposal is to delete after target jointly with government. So the rendition would then be the bank shall determine the medium-term inflation targets.
Mr. Speaker, I want to propose a safe landing clause, so that if Honorable Harun Idrisu would lend me his ears, because of what you said, that you don't have a problem with the joint thing, joint determination being taken up. I am very well. If you didn't say that, no problem, Mr. Speaker. I hold a view that we can further look at the shall and rather make it may. I think if the finance minister, yes, that is safer, so that we don't create a certain impression. If that's fine by you, the new rendition, we say the bank may determine the medium-term inflation target jointly with government. If the may comes, Mr. Speaker, I think we'll be sending a certain positive signal out there. We've had all the debate.
Well, you're welcome back from Parliament. Very interesting debate there yesterday. The minority raising concerns over the Bank of Ghana Amendment Bill 2025. This bill is proposing significant changes to the governance structure of the central bank. It's seeking to extend the tenure of members of the Bank of Ghana's governing board from 4 to 5 years, and it will also remove members of parliament from the management board. And the bill also mandates the central bank to set the medium-term inflation target jointly with the government, and that is where the minority's focus was. the issue about setting that target jointly with government. And so the minority leader Alexander Penyo-Marking and so many others spoke about this matter, but the one who started this whole probing, the MP for Ofuase Mairebi Kojo Nkrumah, sought to bring the attention of the majority to the matter, asking that there should be an amendment to this bill, especially with some of the provisions in there, so that it does not undermine the transparency, the accountability, credibility of the Bank of Ghana, and also so that there's no weakening of oversight responsibility by government. But very, very interesting there. After the show, I'll do well to listen again from both sides of Parliament. The majority making a case for this amendments bill, the minority also making a case for which they think that certain portions of the bill must be relooked at, so that the nation does not suffer for it. Today we have a lot on ABC News Ghana that you should be looking out for. We are at a conference which we will be showing for you here, and so if you are interested in anything education, this is one of the things that you should be taking a look at here on ABC News GH. We're bringing you the 2025 Education Financing Conference held by the Africa Education Watch, and it is on TVET financing, innovative financing, and the 2026 budget. And so you don't want to miss out on that at all. ABC News GH will be there, and after the show, after ABC in the morning, we'll do well to take you there so that you can appreciate what is happening. We'll be bringing you the latest in the world of sports very soon. But let me read a message I received on Facebook this morning when we had Professor John here talking about the Kusaug issue, the Kusaug Mamprisi Boko conflict, which Otunfo 82 has mediated. This is from Mbawin Samuel Awimpini. He said, "Good morning, listeners and viewers of ABC News GHTV. Kindly extend my regards to Reverend Professor John Azuma for his advocacy for peace and always standing on the side of the truth and justice. I extend my warmest regards to the Asantehene Otunfo 82 II for his efforts towards lasting peace. All we need is peace. There's no winner in war. This is a win-win for all. We pray Boko knows everlasting peace." That's what we are all praying for, that there will be peace in Boko that will be good for the people of Boko and also for everybody in the country. We'll take a break. When we return, we bring you the latest in the world of sports. Stay with us.
Playing for your country, easy. Scoring, easy. Winning, easy. You know what be easy now? Kivo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Easy. It gets everything inside. Gary, creamer, sugar, roasted groundnuts. Just add water. Sharp my soakings make ready. Taste and energy. Made easy. I'm a match winner, but the real champion is Kivo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Champion taste.
Also available strawberry, coconut, and chocomore. This advert is FDA approved.
Rent back with the beer open. Come on, come and see what. Where this guy? My friend, see before.
It's the Telecel Too Much Money promo. Win cash daily, weekly, and a grand prize of 1.2 million Ghana cedis. Just reload or buy a bundle with Telecel Cash to earn points and stand a chance to win big. Dial *500# or visit the Telecel Play app to opt in and start winning in the Telecel Too Much Money promo. Terms and conditions apply. This promo is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform.
When is campaign? Sister Manoko. If you're a baby, many schedule no. If you know, meto etiaka. Inti ene, uno banum pe baby amobeda. Oh no abeka. You did too much money. No matter.
Telecel, connecting energies.
Imagine a sport without rules, a game without passion, an arena without chance. What drives the champions? What fuels the rivalry? What separates the winners from the rest in the world of sports?
Eugene Soti, your chief data guy on the talking point. On the African Tracker, I'll break down the performance of your favorite African players abroad, scrutinizing every detail and exploring the nuances and rules governing the game.
Meet us in your area for Area Take as we plug into sports perspective and hear your thoughts on every play of the game.
I'm James Makion, your go-to expert for everything local. I'll review the fixtures from the locker room to the pitch and from the management to the fans. I've got you covered.
Oh la la! Don't miss out on the double excitement. It's a fun pack, pulsating and complete wrap of everything in sports, from boxing to football, tennis, NBA and more. Sports World on ABC as every Wednesday from 7 to 8 p.m. Sports World on ABC. Sports beyond borders.
Welcome back. Before we even bring you the latest in the world of sports, let me open the phone line so that you can share your thoughts with us. Share your thoughts on the Baku mediation and also the Tandai parliamentary rerun that has been suspended. 053-916-1609. 053-916-1609. Call us and share your thoughts with us. I'd love so much to hear what you have to say on this matter. Also, for 82 the second has ended the mediation talks for the Boko community, the issue that has really been an issue for them, an albatross around the necks of persons from Boko. Because of this issue, no peace in Boko. Everything has ground to a halt. Otuvo has finished his mediation talks. He's presented his report. He's giving some solutions to the matter. Ultimately, the rule of law must be upheld. Share your thoughts with us. 053-916-1609. 053-916-1609. And let's hear what you two have to say on this matter. Also, the Tandai. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. All right, unfortunately, I have lost the caller. Please call back and let me have some conversation with you. I'd love so much to hear from you. 053-916-1609. So, in addition to Boko, we're also looking at the Tandai parliamentary rerun. The Supreme Court says that all court processes must be exhausted before any rerun can happen. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. I really wish today I can get to speak to my callers. Yesterday there were so many issues with picking the calls, and so I hope that it's resolved. Well, sometimes the network is not the best, but I hope that we can speak with our callers. 053-916-1609. 053-916-1609. Share your thoughts with us on Boko and on Tandai. What do you make of it? And so for 30th of December, nobody will be queuing to vote for an MP in Boko. All eyes on Parliament to see how Parliament organizes itself concerning this matter. 053-916-1609. Earlier we had Reverend Professor John Azuma, the president of the Kusaug People's Congress, join us here for a conversation. He's been bent on one thing always, about the rule of law. From the time we started having conversations with him concerning this Boko conflict, he's always about rule of law, rule of law, rule of law. Yesterday, Otunfo 82 reiterated that same thing, the rule of law working and how it will work for the benefit of the people of Boko. These are some of the conversations we are having. Call us and share your thoughts with us. I would love so much to hear from you on these matters. 053-916-1609. 053-916-1609. 09. Please call us and share your thoughts with us. I'd love so much to hear from you, hear your thoughts on the matter and how you appreciate all of these things happening. 053 916 1609. 053 916 1609. Call us and share your thoughts with us on all of these matters. Boko and Pandai parliamentary rerun. Boko and Pandai parliamentary rerun. The NDC says that they're still campaigning. They said we should ignore the comments around that the NPP are not campaigning. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good.
What's your name and where are you calling? What's your name and where are you calling from, sir?
Sacho, your friend me Abdullah, Mikasa Free Tamale.
Abdullah, you too.
Or two for wire dear pa wa bomode wa boa no for ne pa ne kai dogbon so obeya de the akani say kusasi ni man prosifo no o meji etum na ntokwana jai.
All right. Now ufi ho baby ana.
Oh, me fit tamale one set tamale and wa eben ho ye crew for cry ye get yintimi ko hobi mu ntokwa ni tu ko ha na usuru.
Okay Abdul. Well yeah asumbi embra honu Abdul ya that's say ofre ye nyina ye hwese asumdwe ebeba eho. Thank you for calling, Abdul. Abdul says that we are all praying that there will be peace in Boko. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Abena.
Hi, what's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is... Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Tell us your name and then share your thoughts with us.
My name is Sadatu. I'm calling from Kaswa.
Okay, share your thoughts.
I would like to thank the Otumfo for his role in this mediation process. I'm happy that he has intervened. I'm just hoping that the other party will accept it in good faith, because in the end, we all need peace in Ghana. You know, it's not easy to concede to defeat, but they were the bigger people in this whole thing. And we will thank them for what they have done, because it's not easy to concede, you know. So they should take heart, and then I hope that the government will cool their hearts and compensate them in a way so that there'll be peace in Boko and there'll be peace in Ghana. It's a win for all of us. It's not just for one faction. Ghana wins. So that is what I want to say this morning.
All right. Thank you, Sadatu, for calling and sharing your thoughts with us. Indeed, Ghana wins. If there's peace in the country prospers. And we need to uphold peace. We need to hold on jealously to the peace that we have as a country. And so if our brothers and sisters within Boko are suffering, we cannot sit aloof. We cannot just go about our days like nothing is happening. Really, something is happening. And so, yes, there must be peace in Boko, and that is all we are praying for. 053-916-1609. I look forward to hearing from you before I move on to the latest in the world of sports. Call us and share your thoughts on Boko and on Pandai. I'd love so much to hear what you two have to say on all of these matters. 053-916-1609. 053-916-1609. Call and share your thoughts with us. Let us appreciate where you are also coming from on all of these matters that we are discussing this morning on ABC in the morning. Share your thoughts with us. I'd love to hear from you. Well, do I have a caller? If I do not have a caller, I will move on to the latest in the world of sports. The sports team is on hand to bring us all of it.
Introducing Betway's Bet Influencer, a groundbreaking feature where you can make money by just sharing codes. He just needs to share his codes and make money. The more his codes are used, the more money he makes. Oh, yes. So, what are you waiting for? Anyone can be a bet influencer. Share your codes and make money. Bet influencer. Another world first from Betway.
This advert has been approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Betway, get way more.
Magic pepper and onion, a delicious tomato mix with tomato, pepper and onion. No grinding, no blending. Ya yenini na da da da. So pa mediane no abin.
Come on, Gino, do your magic.
And papa no kunu abefi.
Bring them back home.
Tasty magic.
Gino Magic Pepper and Onion. The magic that brings them home.
This advert is FDA approved.
Still watching ABC in the morning. It's time for the latest in the world of sports. Eugene Oforisoti joins me. Eugene, what do you have for us today?
Well, we've got a lot to talk about. FIFA is ramping up a lot of things. Yesterday there was the FIFA award that was done. We'll get you a few more updates on that. Also, in terms of the ticketing, I think last week we brought you the ticket prices for the World Cup. FIFA has done a few adjustments. They've realized that a lot of countries are complaining. So we'll bring you some updates in terms of that. Also, we've told you that the AFCON starts this weekend, and a few of the countries again some friendlies. We'll bring you the highlights from those friendlies as well. And then we'll also bring the episodes of the interview we played yesterday at 7 p.m. when we spoke to head coach of the Mali national team, Tom Seifert. So that's a summary. Well, so we'll start off from the FIFA the Best Awards 2025, where Aitana Bonmati and Ousmane Dembele were announced as the best players for the year.
Good evening, everyone. It's our pleasure to be here in the Spotify Camp Nou, and it's my honor this evening to present Aitana Bonmati with the FIFA Women's 2025 Best Award, her third one in a row. Congratulations, so well deserved, Aitana.
Thank you, Jill. Happy to see you for the second time in a row. And thank you for giving me the award. Also, I'm grateful to have the award. It's voted for all the players, all the coaches, and the fans. So thank you very much. I will enjoy it.
Perfect. And we wish you, obviously, I'm going to hold that.
He reigns supreme for Paris Saint-Germain in 2025. Please welcome the world's best player from France, Ousmane Dembélé.
Merci, Président. Vous allez bien? Merci beaucoup. Thank you.
Félicitations.
C'est à toi. Merci. Mérité. Merci.
Ousmane, the floor is yours.
Tout d'abord, je voulais... Ah, c'est bon, on m'entend. Tout d'abord, je voulais remercier voilà, tous mes coéquipiers, comme quoi le travail, il paye. Voilà, ça a été une année fantastique pour moi, que ce soit individuellement ou collectivement. Et voilà, je voulais remercier ma famille aussi, qui ont toujours été là pour moi. Le club du Paris Saint-Germain, avec qui, comme je l'ai dit, on a fait une année fantastique. Le président, son staff et tous ceux qui travaillent au club, Luis Campos. Je remercie aussi vous, le président. Voilà, j'ai toujours eu votre petit message le jour de mon anniversaire, ça m'a toujours fait plaisir. Je remercie à tous les membres aussi de la FIFA, à mon ami Karja aussi. Voilà, je voulais lui faire une petite dédicace. Et puis voilà, je suis content. J'espère l'année prochaine revenir ici encore une fois. Bravo.
Merci beaucoup et félicitations encore.
So there you have it, Aitana Bonmati and Ousmane Dembele. Ousmane Dembele speaking French, and he was just thanking his teammates, thanking their coach and Luis Ocampos as well as FIFA for that award. As well as this individual awards, there was awards also to managers and then the best 11 of the year. Let's look at the men's best 11 of the year.
Your first defender, also part of the Paris Saint-Germain side which dominated European football, Morocco's Achraf Hakimi. From Ecuador, another historic quadruple winner in the French capital, Willian Pacho. He captained Liverpool as they became champions of England, Virgil van Dijk. Paris Saint-Germain created force from left back in their legendary year, Nuno Mendes. From England, a star who lit up the United States as Chelsea won the FIFA Club World Cup, Cole Palmer. A driving force in England and Real Madrid's midfield, Jude Bellingham. Paris Saint-Germain's pass master who was key to his club conquering their continent, Vitinha. From Spain, another exceptional talent who helped Barcelona win a domestic treble, Pedri. Only 18, but in the best FIFA Men's 11 for the second year in a row, Barcelona's teenage sensation, Lamine Yamal. And the forward who became one of the most feared footballers on the planet in 2025. His goals fired Paris Saint-Germain to a glorious year, Ousmane Dembele.
So there you have it. That's the best 11 according to FIFA. Surprisingly, no place for Mohamed Salah in that list. But Lamine Yamal, Ousmane Dembele, Vitinha, Jude Bellingham, Cole Palmer, and others make that list. Well, there's also individual awards. Sarina Wegman was named the best women's coach for 2025, as well as Gianluigi Donnarumma making it as the best goalkeeper for the year. Luis Enrique was named as the best men's coach for 2025, and the best women's goalkeeper was to Hannah Hampton as well. Lisbeth Oval received the FIFA Martha Award, and also the FIFA Fair Play Award went to Dr. Andreas Hallas Newkin. So as well, a few of the FIFA Pushkas Award went to Santiago Montiel. Well, still on FIFA, let's head to the 2026 World Cup preparations. FIFA yesterday announced that there's been a major change in terms of the ticket, and we'll get the announcement or press release on the screens. FIFA have announced to us that there's a new ticketing price tier introduced for fans of qualified teams. It says that with the demand in the current sales phase achieving 20 million ticket requests, FIFA has confirmed that fans of the national teams that have qualified for the FIFA World Cup will benefit from a dedicated ticketing pricing tier, which has been designed to make following their teams on football's greatest stage more affordable. He says the newly introduced supporter entry tier will be available at the fixed price of $60 per ticket for each of the 104 matches, including the final. That's a major shift from the last ticketing price we saw, which was around at least around $600 for some of the games, and so at least this will help reduce the financial burden. And it says in total 50% of each PME allocation will fall within the most affordable range, namely supporter value tier 40% and the supporter entry tier 10%. The remaining allocation is split evenly between the supporter standard tier and the supporter premium tier. So it means that FIFA has realized that fans are complaining that they are being outpriced from following the game they so love, and so a few announcements will be made in terms of the allocations and how there will be a random selection draw which will be open next year on the 13th of January, and then the timing of the ticket request within the window would also be done. So for the news incoming, there's been a direction change in terms of the pricing range for fans, and it would help reduce the financial burden significantly for the fans. Now from FIFA, let's head to the African continent. Remember that the AFCON kicks off on Sunday, December 21st, as Morocco take on Comoros in the opening game. Well, before that, a lot of the countries are preparing assiduously and engaging in last-minute friendly. South Africa took on the Black Galaxies of Ghana. They beat